There comes a moment in every life when the noise around you begins to fade. The crowd, the routine, the laughter, the endless scroll, all of it becomes distant. And in that quiet space, a single question echoes within you. Why am I here? Not just what do I do, not where am I going, but why do I exist? That question, the cry of the human soul, is the beginning of your awakening. Most people spend their entire lives chasing after things: money, validation, attention, comfort, and yet, deep inside, they remain empty. Because when purpose is missing, everything loses meaning. A life without purpose is motion without direction, activity without achievement, and success without fulfillment. But when you find your purpose, truly find it, something changes. You begin to wake up with a reason. You begin to see meaning even in the struggle. You stop competing with others because you've discovered your lane. Purpose gives you clarity. Purpose gives you power. Purpose gives you peace. Maybe right now, you're listening to this because you feel lost. Maybe you've tried, failed, started again, and nothing feels right. Maybe you look around and everyone else seems to be moving forward, while you're stuck. If that's you, listen closely. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not without meaning. You are simply in the space between who you were and who you're meant to become. And that space, though painful, is sacred, because it's where purpose is born. You see, your purpose isn't found in a textbook. It's not hidden in someone else's approval or in a job title. Your purpose is written inside you. It's been there since the beginning, waiting for you to stop, listen, and remember. Every experience you've had, the wins, the wounds, the heartbreak, the failures, all of it has been shaping you for something greater. Life has been whispering, there's more. But most people never pause long enough to hear that whisper. They drown it with distractions, silence it with fear, or numb it with comfort. The truth is, you cannot find your purpose while running from yourself. You must stop. You must face your reflection. You must ask the deeper questions. What makes me come alive? What injustice makes me angry? What problem am I here to solve? What do I love so deeply that I would do it even if no one applauded? These are not small questions, they are sacred doors. And once you walk through them, your entire life begins to align. When you know your purpose, you stop chasing approval. When you know your purpose, rejection no longer destroys you. When you know your purpose, every obstacle becomes part of your preparation. Purpose is not about what you have, it's about who you are becoming. And once you live from that awareness, life stops happening to you, and starts happening through you. So, as you listen to this audiobook, I want you to breathe. Let go of the rush to figure everything out. Purpose is not discovered in panic, it's revealed in peace. As you listen, open your heart. Reflect. Ask yourself, what if everything I've been through was preparing me for this very moment? Because it was. You were created for a reason. You are here on purpose, for purpose. And through these chapters, we will uncover that reason together. One truth, one story, one revelation at a time. This is more than an audiobook, it's a journey back to yourself. It's not about becoming someone new, it's about remembering who you already are. So, let's begin. Let's walk together through the noise, through the doubt, through the confusion, and uncover the divine reason you are here. Because the world doesn't need another copy. The world needs you, the real you, the purposeful you, and this, right here, right now, is where that journey begins. Chapter 1: The Restless Search Within. There comes a time in every person's life when comfort becomes uncomfortable. When the things that once made you smile now leave you strangely hollow. When you begin to ask questions you can't answer, not because you're confused, but because your soul is restless. That restlessness is the first sign of awakening. It's not depression, it's not boredom, it's your inner self whispering, there's more to you than this. For years, many people live inside routines, waking up, working hard, smiling when expected, scrolling through moments of other people's lives, trying to feel alive. And yet, when the night comes and silence fills the room, something inside asks, is this all there is? That question doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to invite you. Invite you to dig deeper. Invite you to listen. Invite you to rediscover who you are beyond the noise. Purpose often begins with that discomfort, that feeling that what surrounds you no longer satisfies you. You see, every great awakening begins with a question. Moses questioned his place in Egypt. David questioned his strength in the field. Nelson Mandela questioned the chains of injustice. Every man and woman who ever changed the world first wrestled with the world within. So if you feel restless, don't run from it. Sit with it. That ache is not punishment, it's direction. It's life trying to get your attention. Maybe you've tried many things. You've started projects that faded. You've chased dreams that didn't fulfill you. You've followed the crowd, hoping to find your place among them, but ended up feeling more lost. Listen to me. That's okay. You're not behind. You're just being redirected. Because purpose is not found in the crowd. It's found in the quiet moments of truth. When you strip away the noise and face yourself honestly, you'll see the signs have always been there. The things that make your heart burn with passion. The moments that make time disappear. The problems you can't ignore. The words you can't stop speaking about. These are clues. Clues your soul has been leaving for you since the beginning. But the search within is not easy. It requires courage, because you'll face questions that expose your fears. You'll realize that much of what you've built was never truly yours. That you've been living by scripts written by others, family expectations, society's definitions, the fear of failure. Finding your purpose requires unlearning. Unlearning what the world told you to be. Unlearning the lies that say you're not enough. Unlearning the belief that your value is measured by applause. Because before you can find purpose, you must face truth. And truth always comes with confrontation. There will be days you'll question if you're doing the right thing. Days you'll feel like giving up. But understand this. Purpose doesn't always begin with clarity, it begins with curiosity. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to start asking the right questions. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? What breaks my heart every time I see it? What problem would I gladly spend my life solving? These are not just questions, they are keys. Keys that unlock the deeper layers of who you are. Every restless heart is searching for peace, but peace doesn't come from having everything. It comes from becoming everything you were meant to be. And you can't become that if you ignore your inner voice. So, listen, slow down, sit with yourself, ask your soul, what do you really want? And when you hear the answer, don't argue with it. Don't silence it because it scares you. That small voice you keep ignoring? That's your purpose trying to speak. Some people find their purpose early, others take time. But no matter how long it takes, what matters is that you don't stop searching. Because nothing compares to the peace that comes when you finally align with why you were created. You'll know it when you feel it. It won't come with fireworks, it will come with peace. It won't come with applause, it will come with quiet conviction. You'll wake up one day and realize that the restlessness has turned into rhythm, and the confusion has turned into clarity. So, if you feel lost, understand this. You are not lost, you are being guided. The same force that made the stars, made you. And that same force never makes mistakes. Your purpose is not out there waiting to be found. It's in here, waiting to be remembered. This is the beginning of your search within, the first step toward your purpose. Don't rush it, don't fear it, let the restlessness lead you home. Chapter 2. The Pain of Not Knowing Why. There is no pain like the pain of living without direction. You wake up, go through the motions, try to smile, try to fit in, yet something inside you feels missing. It's like driving endlessly on a road with no destination. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere that matters. That quiet emptiness, that ache in your chest, that's not laziness. That's your soul crying out for meaning. People around you may think you're doing fine. You post pictures, you laugh at jokes, you keep up appearances. But deep down, you know, something isn't right. You can feel it every time you silence your true self just to please others. You can feel it every time you achieve something that should make you happy, but doesn't. It's a strange kind of pain, the kind that can't be seen but is always felt. And no matter how much you try to fill it, with money, relationships, distractions, achievements, it doesn't go away. Because it's not a physical hunger, it's a spiritual one. A hunger for purpose. Many people spend their lives trying to escape that pain. They bury it under busyness. They drown it in noise. They convince themselves that, one day, it will all make sense. But that, one day, never comes, not until you stop running and face the truth. You were not created just to exist. You were created to become. When you don't know your why, everything becomes heavy. You wake up tired, even after sleep. You work hard but feel unfulfilled. You win, but the victory feels empty. Because purpose is the engine that gives meaning to motion. Without it, even success feels like failure. Think about it. How many times have you accomplished something only to whisper, "Is this it?" How many times have you smiled for a photo while feeling invisible inside? That quiet emptiness isn't weakness, it's awareness. It's your soul reminding you that you were made for more. I remember once meeting a man who had everything: wealth, influence, respect. From the outside, he looked complete. But he told me, "Every night I feel like I'm drowning in my own success." He had climbed a ladder only to realize it was leaning on the wrong wall. That's what happens when you chase achievement without alignment. When you live for applause instead of purpose, you will always need more to feel less. Purpose doesn't fill your pockets, it fills your heart. And when your heart is full, even little things become sacred. The pain of not knowing why is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to awaken you. It's life's way of saying, stop, look deeper. Every disappointment, every heartbreak, every failure, all of it is life pointing you inward, saying, there's something inside you waiting to be discovered. And I know, it hurts. It hurts to feel lost. It hurts to not have answers. It hurts to feel like you're falling while everyone else is flying. But what if this pain isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if it's shaping you, softening you, and teaching you empathy so that when you finally find your purpose, you'll live it with humility and power? Pain is not your enemy, it's your messenger. It shows you what matters. It shows you what needs healing. It shows you what's missing. When you feel that ache of emptiness, don't numb it, listen to it. Because the moment you start listening, you'll begin to hear whispers of who you truly are. You'll realize that every frustration was a signpost. Every rejection was redirection. Every delay was design. Your purpose has been calling through every closed door, every sleepless night, every silent prayer. And one day, you'll look back and understand why it had to hurt. You'll see that the pain was pushing you toward alignment, that it had to break you free from comfort so you could discover calling. The pain of not knowing why is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your awakening. You're not lost, you're being prepared. You're not empty, you're being filled with questions that lead to truth. You're not behind, you're being positioned for purpose. So, don't run from the pain. Let it teach you, let it refine you, because hidden inside that pain is your path. And once you begin to understand that, every tear becomes a seed, every struggle becomes a step, and every wound becomes wisdom. You may not see it now, but one day you'll thank the pain, because it led you to purpose. Chapter 3. You were not born by accident. You need to hear this today. You were not born by accident. You are not a mistake. You are not a random event in the universe. No matter how your story began, whether it was planned or unexpected, welcomed or rejected, your existence carries divine intention. Because when purpose designs life, no circumstance can disqualify it. Some people grow up believing their lives are small because they were told they came from nothing. But let me tell you something powerful. You came from purpose. Before your first breath, purpose was already written into your DNA. Before you had a name, there was a reason for your existence. Before the world labeled you, destiny had already chosen you. You might have been born into struggle, but you were not born without meaning. You might have faced rejection, but you were not created by mistake. You might feel unseen, but heaven has always seen you. Think about it. Out of billions of possibilities, you made it here. Every cell, every breath, every heartbeat, perfectly aligned for this moment in time. You are proof of intention. You are evidence that something greater than you believed you were necessary. You were born with gifts, with a voice, with an energy that no one else on this planet can duplicate. You carry something the world needs, and that something is your purpose. Maybe you've been told you'll never amount to much. Maybe your past feels too messy, too complicated. Maybe you've made mistakes that still haunt you. But listen closely. Your past doesn't cancel your purpose, it prepares it. The world may judge you by where you've been, but purpose sees you by where you're going. The world may remember your failures, but purpose remembers your potential. And when you begin to understand that you were never random, everything changes. There's a story in every scar. Every disappointment carries direction. Every closed door carries protection. Nothing about your journey has been wasted. Every detour, every heartbreak, every lonely night, all of it has been woven into your becoming. You didn't just survive those moments for no reason. They shaped you, refined you, and positioned you for impact. Let this sink in. You were chosen to be here. Chosen to walk this path. Chosen to carry light in your own unique way. And no one else can do what you were born to do in exactly the same way. You have something sacred inside of you, a combination of passion, perspective, and power that makes you irreplaceable. You might look at others and think, they have it all figured out. But don't compare your journey to theirs. They have their purpose, you have yours. And yours fits you perfectly. Sometimes, life tries to convince you otherwise. People may overlook you, opportunities may pass you by, doors may close, but purpose is patient. It waits for the right moment to reveal itself. It doesn't rush, because what is divinely designed cannot be destroyed. Even when you feel like life forgot about you, it hasn't. Even when you feel invisible, you're being developed in private for a public purpose. Even when you feel unworthy, remember, diamonds are formed in darkness before they ever shine in light. You were not born by accident. You were born on assignment. There is something inside you that the world is waiting to experience, and that's why you can't quit now. If you were truly without purpose, you wouldn't still be here. The fact that you're breathing means your mission is still active. The fact that you woke up today means there's still more for you to become, more for you to do, more for you to give. You were created with precision, with love, with intention. You were placed on earth in this generation for a reason. The timing of your life is not random, it's aligned. And yes, there will be moments when you doubt it, when life feels unfair, when the plan doesn't make sense. But even then, remember this truth. Your purpose was written before your pain ever appeared. And if it was written before, it means it will outlast everything that tries to break you. So today, say it out loud. I am not an accident. Say it with conviction. My life has meaning. Say it with faith. I was born for a reason, and I will fulfill it. Because you were not created to wander without worth. You were created to live with intention. You are not random, you are remarkable, and the world needs the purpose that only you can give. Chapter 4. The Voice Inside You. There is a voice inside you. A voice that has been speaking since the very beginning. It's quiet, yet powerful. Gentle, yet persistent. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't argue with fear, it simply waits for silence. That voice inside you is your inner compass, the guide that knows your path even when you don't. It's the sound of purpose echoing through your spirit. The problem is not that the voice isn't speaking. The problem is that the world has become too loud for you to hear it. Every day, you're surrounded by noise, opinions, expectations, comparison, fear. Everyone wants to tell you who you should be, what you should do, what's realistic, what's safe. And somewhere in all that noise, the most important voice, your own, gets buried. But here's the truth, you cannot find your purpose if you cannot hear yourself. And you cannot hear yourself until you make space for silence. That inner voice often speaks in feelings, not words. It shows up as intuition, that quiet knowing that something is right, even if it doesn't make sense yet. It appears as discomfort, that uneasy feeling when you're in a place or doing something that doesn't align with who you are. It speaks through peace, that sense of calm that tells you, this is it, keep going. Most people ignore that voice because it's not always logical. But purpose rarely speaks the language of logic, it speaks the language of truth. And truth doesn't always fit the plan you've written for yourself. Maybe your voice has been telling you to take a risk, but fear keeps whispering, what if? Maybe it's been telling you to walk away from something that no longer serves you. Maybe it's calling you to start something new, a business, a movement, a change. But every time you silence that voice, you silence a part of your purpose. That's why you feel restless, because your soul knows there's more. Your inner voice doesn't exist to make you comfortable, it exists to make you complete. To hear that voice clearly, you must create room for stillness. Turn off the noise, step away from the constant scrolling, the endless opinions, the need for validation. Sit with yourself, listen. At first, the silence will feel strange, even uncomfortable. You'll hear your doubts, your insecurities, your regrets. But if you stay there long enough, beneath all that noise, you'll hear something else, your truth. And that truth will never lie to you. When you begin to follow that inner guidance, something beautiful happens. You start making decisions not out of fear, but out of faith. You stop chasing what looks right, and start choosing what feels right. You stop asking for permission to be who you already are. Because your purpose doesn't need external approval, it only needs internal agreement. The voice inside you will not always lead you on the easy path, but it will always lead you on the true one. It may lead you into unfamiliar territory, but it will never lead you astray. It may ask you to let go of things you thought you needed, people, habits, comfort zones, because purpose cannot grow in the soil of fear. Every time you listen to that voice, you take one step closer to alignment. Every time you trust it, you strengthen it. And soon, it becomes easier to recognize, easier to follow, easier to live by. Remember this: your purpose speaks in peace, not pressure. If something drains your soul, it's not aligned. If something ignites your spirit, it's a sign. Pay attention to what gives you life. Pay attention to what you can't stop thinking about. That's the voice of purpose guiding you. There will be times when others won't understand your choices. They'll question you, doubt you, even laugh at you. But don't let their confusion silence your calling. They can't hear what you hear. They weren't given your inner voice, you were. So trust it, even if it leads you where no one else is going. Even if it asks you to start again. Even if it tells you to stand alone. Because when you honor that voice, life starts to align in ways logic can't explain. Doors open, opportunities appear, peace replaces panic, and your purpose begins to unfold like a sunrise, quiet, steady, unstoppable. So, listen, not to the noise of the world, but to the whisper within. It has been speaking all along, waiting for you to stop running and start listening. Your purpose has a sound, and that sound is your own voice. Chapter 5. Listening to Life's Clues. Sometimes, life doesn't speak with words. It speaks with moments. It speaks with patterns. It speaks through the things that keep returning to you. The lessons, the pain, the passions, the people. Every experience, every victory, and every heartbreak carries a clue. And when you look closely enough, those clues start to connect like pieces of a puzzle. That puzzle is your purpose. Too often, we go through life asking, "What is my purpose?" But life has already been showing you. You just haven't learned how to read the signs. Think about it. What do you naturally care about, even when no one asks you to? What kind of pain do you feel deeply in your heart when you see others go through it? What activities make you lose track of time because you feel alive doing them? Those are not coincidences, they are clues. Purpose is not always revealed in a single moment of clarity. It's discovered through a lifetime of signs. The pain you went through wasn't random. The disappointments, the rejections, the closed doors, they were part of your preparation. Life doesn't waste pain. Every wound carries wisdom. Maybe you lost something important, a dream, a person, a season, and thought it was the end. But what if it wasn't the end at all? What if it was redirection? What if that heartbreak was meant to push you toward healing others? What if that failure was meant to teach you resilience so you could later inspire those who are ready to quit? Your life has been leaving you messages in the form of moments. All you need to do is start paying attention. Look back at your journey. What do you keep coming back to, no matter how many times you try to walk away? What keeps calling you? That's not random, that's rhythm. When you begin to listen deeply, you'll notice patterns. Certain experiences repeat themselves, not to punish you, but to teach you something you still need to learn. Certain passions don't go away because they're connected to who you truly are. You may try to silence them, ignore them, replace them, but purpose has a way of finding its way back to you. It will show up in conversations, in dreams, in opportunities, in random reminders that pull your heart in one direction. Every great person who found their purpose learned how to listen. Nelson Mandela listened to injustice, and it led him to freedom work. Mother Teresa listened to suffering, and it led her to compassion. Steve Jobs listened to creativity, and it led him to innovation. Martin Luther King Jr. listened to inequality, and it led him to courage. They didn't stumble into their purpose by chance. They paid attention to what moved their soul. They listened. You have clues all around you. Maybe your purpose is hidden in your pain, the thing you once overcame and can now help others through. Maybe it's hidden in your passion, the thing that makes you light up and forget about the world. Maybe it's hidden in your gift, the thing you do easily while others struggle. Purpose always leaves footprints in your life. The more you look, the more you'll see them. Here's the truth. Your life has been your greatest teacher. Every season had a message. Every struggle was a mirror showing you something about yourself. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What was this trying to teach me?" That single shift in mindset turns pain into purpose. Because the moment you find meaning in what happened, it stops controlling you and starts empowering you. When you learn to listen, the world becomes quieter and clearer at the same time. You'll start to notice divine timing. You'll meet people who mirror your dreams. You'll face challenges that refine your calling. And you'll realize, everything was always connected. Nothing was wasted, nothing was random, it all had a reason. Think about the skills you've developed over time, the passions that never fade, The situations that keep repeating. The things that make your heart ache or come alive. These are not separate, they're signals. And when you combine them, you start to see the shape of your calling. Because your purpose isn't just one thing you do, it's everything you've become. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every moment of hope has been shaping the person you needed to be to live out your purpose. So take a step back today. Look at your life not as a random story, but as a roadmap. See the patterns, see the pain, see the passions, and ask yourself, what is life trying to tell me? Because once you start listening, you'll realize your purpose has been whispering through your story all along. Every experience was a clue, and now it's time to follow where those clues lead. Chapter 6: The Power of Passion and Service. Your purpose lives where your passion meets service. It's the intersection between what sets your heart on fire and what brings light to others. Passion alone is not enough. Service alone is not enough. But when passion and service collide, purpose is born. Every person on earth is wired for something. Something that excites them, something that moves them so deeply that time disappears when they do it. That something isn't random, it's a compass. It's how your creator designed you to contribute. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's teaching, maybe it's building, creating, solving, healing, encouraging, or leading. Whatever it is, that fire inside you is not an accident, it's a message. It says, here, this is where you belong. But passion without purpose becomes self-centered, and service without passion becomes exhausting. That's why you need both. When your passion fuels your service, it becomes sustainable. You no longer give out of pressure, you give out of overflow. You no longer chase success, you create impact. Look at the people who changed the world. They didn't just follow money, they followed meaning. Mother Teresa didn't choose the streets of Calcutta because it was easy. She chose it because her heart burned for compassion. Nelson Mandela didn't stay in prison because it was comfortable. He stayed because his soul was anchored to justice. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't speak because it was popular. He spoke because his silence would have been betrayal. They were not driven by fame, they were driven by fire. By something larger than themselves. And you, too, have that fire. You've felt it, in moments when you stood up for something that mattered. In times when you helped someone and felt a deep joy you couldn't explain. In quiet moments when your spirit whispered, this is what I'm meant to do. That feeling, that fullness, is what happens when passion meets service. Maybe your gift is to speak life into people who've forgotten how to believe. Maybe it's to create solutions where others see problems. Maybe it's to bring beauty into places that feel broken. Maybe it's simply to love people in a world that has forgotten how. Whatever your gift is, it becomes meaningful when you use it for others. That's where the magic happens. That's where purpose becomes power. When you begin to serve through your passion, something shifts inside you. You no longer wake up dreading the day. You wake up with direction. You no longer wonder if your life matters, you feel that it does. And suddenly, you're not just surviving, you're contributing. Purpose doesn't make life perfect, but it makes it significant. So ask yourself, what makes me come alive? What makes me lose track of time? What kind of problems do I feel drawn to solve? Whose pain moves me enough to act? Because the answers to those questions are the fingerprints of your purpose. When you do what you love in a way that serves others, you become unstoppable. Obstacles don't feel like walls anymore, they feel like lessons. Failures don't break you, they refine you. And success no longer becomes about applause, it becomes about impact. Service is not about being perfect, it's about being available. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be the most skilled, the most educated, or the most recognized. You just have to be willing. Willing to show up, willing to serve, willing to say yes to what lights you up. Because when you move with purpose, the universe moves with you. Purpose is not found in chasing rewards, it's found in giving yourself away. Every time you pour out love, encouragement, wisdom, or kindness, you are living your purpose. Every time you use your gift to lift someone else, you are fulfilling your calling. And the more you give, the more life gives back to you. Because passion grows when shared, and service multiplies when given. If you ever feel lost, don't look for your purpose in the distance, look for where you can serve now. Right where you are, start small, do what you can with what you have. Because purpose doesn't start on a big stage, it starts in small acts of passion and service. Every smile you cause, every hand you lift, every problem you solve, every life you touch. These are all seeds of your purpose. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize the life you built around service was the life that gave you meaning. So, listen closely, follow your passion, serve with your heart, and trust that every time you give what's inside you, the world becomes a little better, because you were brave enough to live your purpose. That is the power of passion and service. Chapter 7. Breaking Free from Fear and Doubt. Fear, it's the silent killer of purpose, the invisible chain that holds back the strongest of hearts. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" And doubt echoes, "What if you're not enough?" And so, dreams die quietly, not because they were impossible, but because someone believed the lie that they couldn't do it. Every great vision will face the resistance of fear. Every calling will be tested by doubt. It's the price of growth. It's the barrier between the life you have and the life you were born for. The truth is, fear isn't your enemy. It's your signal, your invitation to grow. Fear only shows up where purpose lives. If your dream doesn't scare you, it's probably too small. You were not created to live a safe life. You were created to live a significant one. And significance always demands courage. Fear says, stay where it's comfortable. Purpose says, step where you're called. You can't live both in faith and fear. One will silence the other. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from trying because you feared failure? How many opportunities have you ignored because you doubted your ability? How many times have you told yourself, maybe later, but later never came? You've been waiting for the fear to go away, but here's the truth. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving in spite of it. Courage doesn't say, I'm not afraid. Courage says, I'm afraid, but I'll move anyway. Fear will always show up right before breakthrough, right before you step into something greater, right before the moment that changes everything. That's why you feel resistance, not because you're weak, but because you're close. Fear doesn't fight the insignificant, it fights the important. So if you're scared right now, that's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to keep going, because you're closer to purpose than you realize. Imagine a bird that was born with wings but never learned to fly, because it was afraid of falling. That's what fear does. It convinces you to stay grounded when you were built for the sky. You've got wings, gifts, talents, ideas, waiting to lift you. But fear keeps you safe in a cage of comfort. And here's the tragedy. Comfort feels good, but it kills growth. You cannot find your purpose in a place designed for your safety. You find it in a place that demands your courage. You will never feel ready. And that's okay. Readiness is a myth created by fear to keep you waiting. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait your whole life. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can, and watch life meet you halfway. Fear loses power when you take action. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most powerful. Because once you move, you prove to yourself that fear was never in control. In doubt? Doubt fades the moment faith takes a step. You don't need to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. You don't need to have it all figured out, just begin. The world doesn't need perfect people, it needs courageous ones. You've been afraid of failing, but failure isn't final, it's feedback. Every mistake is a message. Every setback is a setup. Every fall teaches you how to stand taller. Don't let failure define you, let it refine you. Because the truth is, the people who succeed aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who never stay down. Fear will tell you, you're not enough. But your purpose doesn't depend on perfection, it depends on willingness. Doubt will say, you're not qualified. But purpose says, you're chosen. Fear will say, you might lose. But faith says, even if I lose, I learn. You can't silence fear by waiting. You silence it by walking. When you finally take that first step, fear begins to lose its voice. Each step forward increases your courage and decreases your doubt. And one day, you'll look back and realize, what once terrified you is now your testimony. Because courage grows through movement, not through waiting. So, if fear is holding you back, remember this. You've already survived everything you were once afraid of. You're stronger than your memories. You're greater than your fear. It's time to stop standing at the edge of your purpose. It's time to jump. You may not have wings yet, but you'll grow them on the way down. Don't let fear be louder than your calling. Don't let doubt drown your destiny. You were born for this. And the moment you step forward, fear loses and purpose wins. Chapter 8. The Process of Becoming. Purpose isn't discovered overnight, it's revealed through time, it's shaped through trials, growth, and grace. You don't find your purpose, you become it. Becoming is a process, a journey that refines you, stretches you, and transforms you into the person your purpose requires. You're not just waiting for your purpose is waiting for you to become ready. We live in a world that celebrates speed. Everyone wants instant success, instant answers, instant fulfillment. But purpose doesn't work that way. Purpose isn't microwaved, it's marinated. It takes time, it takes waiting, building, breaking, and rising again. You see, the delay isn't denial. The waiting isn't wasted. Every season of your life is preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. Look back on your life for a moment. There were times you wanted things to happen sooner, the job, the dream, the opportunity. But if it had come too early, you might not have been ready to handle it. Purpose doesn't just give you something to do, it gives you someone to become. That's why the process matters. Because while you're waiting for your purpose is waiting for your growth. Every struggle you face is a part of the preparation. Every challenge, every disappointment, every delay is sculpting your character. The world celebrates outcomes, but God shapes becomings. You are being refined, tested, trained, not to destroy you, but to strengthen you. Diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is purified through fire. Purpose is revealed through process. Sometimes the process feels lonely. Sometimes it feels slow. Sometimes it feels like nothing is happening. But in the unseen, something powerful is happening. You are growing. Just like a seed buried in darkness, unseen by the world, quietly growing roots. No one claps for it. No one notices it. But one day, it breaks through the soil and stands tall, not because of luck, but because of process. You are that seed. Your silence is not failure, it's preparation. Your obscurity is not rejection, it's protection. Purpose will require you to outgrow your comfort zone. It will require patience when everything inside you wants speed. It will ask you to trust timing when you can't trace progress. That's hard, but it's necessary. Because purpose isn't about where you end up. It's about who you become along the way. The person who starts the journey is never the same one who finishes it. Purpose changes you. It matures you. It molds you into someone capable of carrying what's coming next. Think about every great person who fulfilled their calling. They all went through a process. David was anointed as king, but he still had to face giants and deserts before the throne. Joseph had dreams of greatness, but he was betrayed, imprisoned, and forgotten before he was elevated. Even Jesus spent years in quiet preparation before his public purpose began. Process precedes purpose. You may be in a waiting season right now, a season where it feels like nothing is moving. But don't rush the process, respect it. What you call delay, heaven calls development. You're being built, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're learning patience. You're gaining wisdom. You're growing resilience. One day, when you finally step into your full purpose, you'll look back and realize, the waiting was worth it. Don't compare your timeline to others. Everyone's process is different. Your journey isn't behind, it's unique. Purpose unfolds at the pace of preparation. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Ask, what am I learning right now? Instead of asking, why is it taking so long? Ask, who am I becoming in this season? Because when you embrace the process begins to empower you. Every season has purpose. The pain, the progress, the pruning, they all work together to prepare you for the person you are becoming. So if you feel like you're still in the middle of your story, good. Because that's where transformation happens. You're not behind, you're becoming. Don't rush your growth. Don't despise your small beginnings. Don't give up when the process feels painful. Because the process is the preparation. And when the time is right, what's meant for you will unfold naturally, beautifully. Because you'll be ready for it. So keep walking, keep growing, keep trusting. You're not waiting for purpose to begin. You're in the sacred process of becoming it. Chapter 9: The Impact of Purposeful Living. When you begin to live with purpose, something extraordinary happens. The world around you starts to change, not because it suddenly became easier, but because you did. Living with purpose doesn't just transform your path, it transforms your presence. It changes how you see, how you act, and how you love. Purpose doesn't just make you successful, it makes you significant. Every person you meet feels your energy, even before they hear your words. When you walk in purpose, your energy shifts, it carries clarity, confidence, and compassion. You stop chasing validation and start radiating value. You stop trying to impress people and start trying to impact them. You become a light, and the thing about light is, it doesn't need to compete with darkness. It just shines. When you live with purpose, you give people permission to do the same. Your courage inspires courage in others. Your consistency builds faith in those who are watching you, and your authenticity becomes a mirror that reminds people of who they are. Every act of purpose creates a ripple, a wave that moves beyond what your eyes can see. You might think your actions are small, but someone else is being changed by your example. Someone is finding strength because you didn't give up. Someone is believing again because you dared to keep going. Purposeful living is contagious. It spreads hope. It awakens dreams. It reminds the world that meaning still exists in a world obsessed with noise. When you live intentionally, even your silence speaks. Even your daily habits tell a story of growth, of faith, of resilience. You become proof that purpose is possible. Think about this. A tree doesn't eat its own fruit. Its fruit exists to feed others. That's what purpose does. It makes your life fruitful for others. Your gift, your passion, your wisdom, they were never meant to stay within you. They were meant to feed someone else's hope, someone else's strength, someone else's vision. Purpose makes your life a gift. It turns existence into contribution. When you begin to live for something bigger than yourself, everything shifts. You start to wake up with a sense of direction. You stop asking, "What do I get?" and start asking, "What can I give?" And in giving, you discover joy that can't be bought. Because fulfillment doesn't come from what you collect, it comes from what you contribute. You don't have to be famous to make an impact. You don't need millions of followers to change lives. Sometimes the greatest purpose is lived quietly, in your family, in your community, in the small acts of love you give daily. The teacher who encourages a student who's ready to quit, the nurse who comforts a patient in pain, the friend who listens without judgment, the parent who keeps showing up with love, no matter what. These are the quiet heroes, people who live with purpose, not for recognition, but for impact. When you live in purpose, people remember how you made them feel. They remember your kindness. They remember your courage. They remember the light you carried in dark times. Your purpose becomes a legacy, a story written not on paper, but on hearts. And that's the beauty of living purposefully. You don't have to chase legacy, it happens naturally. Because legacy isn't what you leave for people, it's what you leave in them. When you touch lives, when you uplift others, when you serve with passion, you create an impact that outlives you. You become a bridge for others to cross, a spark that lights another flame, a seed that grows long after you're gone. Imagine what would happen if every person chose to live with purpose. Imagine communities driven by service instead of ego. Workplaces fueled by meaning instead of greed. Relationships built on growth instead of fear. The world would heal, not through miracles, but through purpose. Because purpose aligns you with love, and love, expressed through purpose, changes everything it touches. Music rises gently, tone of realization and hope. So today, remember, your purpose is not just about you. It's about the lives connected to your obedience. It's about the people waiting to see you shine so they can believe it's possible for them too. You are not small, you are not insignificant, you are part of something much bigger, a chain of light, a movement of meaning, a living message of hope. When you live in purpose, you make the world a little brighter. You make someone's journey a little lighter. And you remind humanity that every soul matters. So walk in purpose, boldly, passionately, intentionally. Because every time you do, the world changes, even if just a little. And those small changes, they add up to eternity. Chapter 10. Staying true to the call. Finding your purpose is one thing. Staying true to it, that's where the real test begins. Because purpose is not a one-day decision, it's a lifetime commitment. It's a daily, yes, even when everything inside you wants to say, no. When you discover what you're meant to do, the journey doesn't suddenly become easy. In fact, it often becomes harder. Because now, life begins to test the depth of your conviction. You'll face seasons of silence. Times when no one applauds, no one notices, no one supports. You'll wonder if it's still worth it, if your effort still matters. But that's when purpose asks the most important question. Will you still believe in me when the crowd disappears? Every dream comes with deserts, empty places that test your faith. But remember this, diamonds aren't formed in comfort. They're formed under pressure. Your calling is refined the same way, in the heat, in the struggle, in the waiting. The people who make lasting impact aren't the ones who started strong. They're the ones who stayed when it was hard to stay. Purpose doesn't require perfection, it requires perseverance. You'll fall, you'll doubt, you'll question yourself. But if you can keep showing up, if you can keep moving forward even in weakness, that's strength. That's faith in motion. There will be moments when quitting feels easier than believing. Moments when your dreams feel too far, your strength feels too small, and your purpose feels too heavy. But purpose isn't meant to be carried alone. Lean on God, lean on grace, lean on the reason you started. Because purpose is not about how strong you are, it's about how committed you are to the one who gave it to you. Distractions will come disguised as opportunities. Not every open door is meant for you. Sometimes the greatest test of purpose is learning when to say no. You can't chase everything and fulfill your calling. You must learn to focus. To say no to noise, so you can say yes to destiny. Guard your purpose like a flame. Protect it from the winds of comparison, impatience, and fear. Because purpose doesn't die overnight, it fades when you stop feeding it. Feed your purpose daily. Feed it with discipline. Feed it with prayer. Feed it with learning, with humility, with faith. Purpose needs nourishment, not from the applause of others, but from the quiet conviction that you're walking the right path. Because sometimes, purpose will lead you into hidden seasons. And that's okay. Every great story has a silent chapter, the unseen work before the breakthrough. Stay faithful in the unseen. Because what you build in private determines what you carry in public. Every seed must first die in the soil before it breaks through the surface. And every person of purpose must go through seasons where no one claps, no one cheers, yet they keep believing anyway. That's the secret of every champion, every visionary, every world changer. They stayed true when it didn't make sense. They trusted when they couldn't see. Your calling won't always feel exciting. Sometimes it will feel routine, lonely, even frustrating. But remember, purpose isn't driven by emotion. It's anchored by meaning. You don't need to feel like it to be faithful to it. Consistency is the language of commitment. Even small steps count when they're in the right direction. So when you're tired, rest, but don't quit. When you're lost, pause, but don't forget why you started. When it feels like no one sees, keep going, because heaven does. Staying true to your call means understanding that not every day will bring results, but every day brings growth. You may not see the fruit today, but something is taking root. And one day, the world will see what patience has been producing in you all along. The test of purpose isn't how fast you run, it's how long you last. Don't let temporary pain make you forget eternal purpose. Don't let disappointment destroy your direction. Don't let failure make you forget who you are. Every storm has an expiration date. Every night eventually breaks into dawn. Your purpose is worth the fight. Your destiny is worth your discipline. Your calling is worth your consistency. So stay true to the call. Stay focused when others are distracted. Stay humble when success comes. Stay faithful when the path gets lonely. Because purpose doesn't reward the quickest, it crowns the most consistent. And when you refuse to quit, when you keep showing up, you'll wake up one day and realize, you've become exactly who you were meant to be. Not by luck, not by chance, but by faith, by endurance, and by obedience to your calling. Chapter 11. Step into your purpose, the call to action. You've searched, you've questioned, you've reflected. You've discovered that purpose is not a distant dream, it's a daily choice. And now, it's time to take the most important step of all, to act. Because purpose means nothing if it stays in your head. It only becomes powerful when you walk in it. There's a moment in every journey when you must move from learning to living. From planning to doing. From talking about your dreams to walking into them. That moment is now. No one else can take this step for you. No one else can walk this path in your place. The world is waiting, not for another motivational speech, but for your obedience to what's already burning inside you. You already have what it takes. The strength you think you lack is sleeping inside your consistency. The answers you've been searching for are waiting on the other side of your action. You don't need more time, you need more belief. You don't need every detail, you need your first step. Because destiny doesn't require perfection, it requires movement. Every person who changed the world started scared. Every great story began with uncertainty. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to move forward even when fear screams the loudest. Your purpose won't unfold all at once. It will reveal itself step by step, as you move with faith, not with full understanding. That's how you grow. That's how you build momentum. Think about it. The seed doesn't know how tall it will grow, it just breaks the soil. The bird doesn't see the whole sky, it just spreads its wings. And you, right now, don't need to see the entire future, you just need to start walking. The path will meet your feet once you move. The right people will find you once you begin. The right doors will open once you take your first step. Don't wait until you feel ready. You may never feel ready. But readiness comes through responsibility, through saying, I'll start anyway. Purpose meets you in motion. Not when you're perfect, but when you're present. So start writing that book. Start building that vision. Start forgiving, healing, serving, growing. Start becoming the version of yourself that your destiny is waiting for. You are capable. You are chosen. You are ready. There's a generation waiting for your voice. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your courage. Someone's healing is waiting on your obedience. Someone's faith will awaken when they see you rise. You are not small. You are not unseen. You are not late. You are right on time, because this is your moment. Everything that happened before this, the pain, the confusion, the delay, it was preparation, not punishment. It shaped you, refined you, built you. Now it's time to use it. Step out of fear. Step out of doubt. Step out of hesitation. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs your authenticity. It needs your truth, your story, your light. Don't hide your fire just to make others comfortable. Don't silence your gift just because others don't understand it. Purpose requires boldness. The courage to stand in your uniqueness, even when it feels uncomfortable. Because comfort never created greatness. The moment you decide to walk in purpose, you change your story. You begin to live from the inside out, guided by meaning, not by fear. You begin to inspire, to build, to lead, not because you're perfect, but because you're available. Purpose doesn't require the strongest. It calls the willing, and right now, that's you. So take this moment, this heartbeat, and make a decision. You will no longer live on autopilot. You will no longer shrink to fit expectations. You will no longer wait for permission. You will rise. You will act. You will become. The world is waiting for your purpose, but your purpose is waiting for your action. So go. Build the dream. Start the vision. Write the story. Lead the change. Do it afraid. Do it tired. Do it unsure, but do it. Because your obedience today will become someone's miracle tomorrow. This is your moment. This is your time. Step into your purpose, and never look back. You've reached the end of this journey, but in truth, this is only the beginning. Because purpose doesn't end with knowledge, it begins with action. As you close your eyes right now, take a deep breath. Feel the weight of everything you've learned. Every story, every truth, every whisper that reminded you that your life matters. This is your reminder that you are not here by accident. You are not just another face in the crowd. You are a story written with intention, a masterpiece still being painted by time and courage. You may not have it all figured out. You may not know every step. But that's okay. No one who walks in purpose ever starts with a full map. What matters is that you begin. That you trust the voice inside you more than the noise around you. That you choose faith over fear, meaning over comfort, growth over safety. Let your life become a message of resilience, a message of healing, a message of what happens when an ordinary soul dares to live with extraordinary purpose. And when the road gets hard, as it sometimes will, remember this moment. Remember that you've already come through things meant to break you. You've already survived what others said would end you. That means you have what it takes. So, go out there and live intentionally. Be the light in your world. Be the example that reminds others that purpose is possible. Don't just chase success, chase significance. Because when you walk in purpose, you don't just make a living, you make a difference. Thank you for walking this journey with me. I hope these words stay with you, not just in your mind, but in your spirit. And every time you doubt your worth or lose your way, come back to this truth. You are here for a reason. You are enough, and your purpose is already waiting for you to take the next step. This has been an Audiobook Hub 11 production, where words awaken purpose and stories transform minds. If this message touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, live it, and let it inspire someone else today. Remember, you were made for more. Keep growing, keep believing, and never stop becoming.